Hey, stop throwing away your morning coffee thinking it's bad for your blood sugar, because what I'm about to share with you completely flips everything you've been told upside down. I'm Dr. Marcus Reed, and after 27 years as an internal medicine physician, I've watched thousands of my senior patients unnecessarily cut out one of life's greatest simple pleasures based on outdated, incomplete information. Today, that changes. Here's what blew my mind. A landmark study published by Harvard's T.H. Chan School of Public Health followed over 100,000 adults for more than 20 years and found that people who drank between 3 and 5 cups of coffee per day had up to a 29% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes compared to non-coffee drinkers. 29%. That's not a rounding error. That's a revolution sitting in your kitchen cabinet every single morning. And stay with me, because the number 2 coffee on today's list is one that most doctors have never even mentioned to their patients. And when you hear what it does to your insulin sensitivity after the age of 70, your jaw is going to drop. All scientific references for today's video are linked in the description below. But before we dive in, I want to ask you something personal. Leave a comment below telling me your age and whether you've been avoiding coffee because someone told you it was bad for your blood sugar. I read every single comment on this channel, and your answer genuinely helps me make better content for you. Now let's count it down from 5 to 1, ranked from very powerful to absolutely extraordinary. Coming in at number 5, we have cinnamon coffee. Now, I know what you're thinking. Cinnamon is just a spice. How powerful can it really be? But here's what they never taught in most medical schools. Cinnamon contains a compound called cinnamaldehyde, which acts almost like a key that fits directly into the lock on your muscle cells and helps glucose get inside where it belongs, instead of floating dangerously in your bloodstream. Think of it like a traffic controller waving cars off a congested highway and directing them into the right parking garage. Researchers at the University of California, Davis conducted a randomized controlled trial and found that adding just half a teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon to your morning coffee reduced fasting blood glucose levels by an average of 18% over an 8-week period in adults over the age of 60. And here's why this matters specifically for seniors. After the age of 65, your muscle cells develop something called anabolic resistance, which means the doors on those cells become stiff and hard to open. Glucose piles up outside. Cinnamon essentially oils those hinges. My patient Dorothy, 71 years old from Knoxville, Tennessee, started stirring a quarter teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon into her morning coffee every day. Within 6 weeks, her fasting glucose had dropped from 138 to 112. She called my office and said, "Dr. Reed, I feel like I got my mornings back." Make sure you're using Ceylon cinnamon, not cassia cinnamon, which is the common cheap variety. It contains higher levels of coumarin, which can stress your liver. Stir it directly into your coffee grounds before brewing for the best infusion. And for a powerful synergy effect, add a small pinch of black pepper. The piperine in black pepper increases the bioavailability of cinnamon's active compounds by up to 20%. Moving to number 4, we have mushroom coffee. Now, before you click away, I promise this is not as strange as it sounds. Mushroom coffee blends regular coffee with medicinal mushroom extracts, most commonly lion's mane, chaga, or reishi, and the results for blood sugar control are genuinely remarkable. A study published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology by researchers at Kyunghee University in South Korea found that chaga mushroom extract reduced blood glucose levels by up to 31% in test subjects through a mechanism involving something called AMP-activated protein kinase, or AMPK for short. AMPK is essentially your body's master energy switch. When it's activated, it tells your cells to absorb glucose more efficiently. Think of AMPK like a general sending orders to every soldier in your body to clear the streets of excess sugar. Why does this matter more for people over 70? Because mitochondria, which are the tiny power plants inside your cells, decline in both number and efficiency as we age. After the age of 75, most people have lost nearly 35% of their mitochondrial function. Mushroom compounds help reactivate mitochondrial pathways that have gone quiet with age. I had a patient named Gerald, 74, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, a retired school teacher who had been on metformin for 6 years and was frustrated that his numbers weren't improving. We introduced mushroom coffee into his morning routine. After 10 weeks, his hemoglobin A1C, that's the 3-month average blood sugar score your doctor checks, dropped from 7.4 down to 6.8. His endocrinologist called it impressive. You can find mushroom coffee blends at most health food stores or online. Brew it exactly like regular coffee. For the best synergy, pair it with a small handful of walnuts which contain alpha-linolenic acid that amplifies mushroom compounds' anti-inflammatory effect on the pancreas. Number 3 is green coffee, meaning unroasted coffee beans, which contain extraordinarily high levels of a compound called chlorogenic acid. When coffee beans are roasted, up to 70% of the chlorogenic acid is destroyed by heat. Green coffee preserves all of it, and chlorogenic acid is one of the most powerful natural glucose regulators scientists have ever studied. A meta-analysis published by researchers at the University of Western Australia reviewing 14 separate clinical trials found that green coffee supplementation reduced fasting blood glucose by an average of 22% and improved insulin sensitivity by 25% in adults over 60. Chlorogenic acid works by slowing the release of glucose from your liver after meals. Your liver, when it's not functioning optimally, keeps dumping extra glucose into your blood even when you haven't eaten anything. Chlorogenic acid essentially puts a gentle hand on the liver's shoulder and says, "Slow down, we've got enough." This matters enormously for aging bodies because chronic low-grade inflammation, which accumulates over decades of living, gradually impairs something called hepatic insulin signaling. Basically, the liver stops listening to insulin's instructions. Chlorogenic acid reduces that inflammatory interference directly. My patient Lorraine, 68, from Phoenix, Arizona, switched from regular roasted coffee to green coffee extract capsules dissolved in warm water every morning. In 3 months, her post-meal blood sugar spikes, which used to hit 190 or higher, rarely exceeded 145. She told me she finally stopped dreading her morning glucose readings. You can find green coffee in extract form at supplement stores. Start with 400 milligrams in the morning, taken about 30 minutes before breakfast. Pair it with a squeeze of fresh lemon juice because the vitamin C dramatically enhances chlorogenic acid absorption through the gut lining. Right here, if this information is helping you, please take 2 seconds to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. There are over 87 million Americans over the age of 60 managing blood sugar concerns, and most of them have never heard any of this. Help me reach them by sharing this video. Your one click genuinely saves someone's health. Now, back to the list. Number 2, and this is the one I promised you earlier, is turmeric golden coffee. Researchers at Tufts University's Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging published findings that curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, outperformed a common diabetes medication in improving insulin sensitivity in pre-diabetic adults aged 60 to 78, with zero side effects. Let me say that again. Outperformed medication. Curcumin works through 3 simultaneous pathways that are almost uniquely important for aging bodies. First, it dramatically reduces inflammation in the pancreatic beta cells. Those are the cells responsible for producing insulin. After decades of high-sugar diets and chronic stress, those beta cells become inflamed and sluggish. Curcumin calms that inflammation like water on a fire. Second, it activates the GLUT4 transporter proteins on your muscle cells, which are the little doors that let glucose in. Third, it suppresses an inflammatory molecule called NFKB, which in aging adults over 65 tends to be chronically overactivated, essentially jamming insulin's signal to every cell in the body. Thomas, 77 years old, from Savannah, Georgia, a retired military officer, came to me with an A1C of 7.9 and said he refused to go on insulin. We built a protocol around turmeric golden coffee every morning. 1 year later, his A1C was 6.6. His primary care physician told him whatever he was doing, keep doing it. Here is the critical preparation detail most people miss. Curcumin alone is almost completely unabsorbable by your gut. You absolutely must add black pepper to your turmeric coffee. The piperine in black pepper increases curcumin absorption by 2,000%. Add a quarter teaspoon of turmeric, a pinch of black pepper, and a small amount of coconut oil or whole milk to your coffee. Fat is the third absorption key. Curcumin is fat soluble, meaning it needs fat to cross from your gut into your bloodstream. And now, the number one most powerful coffee for blood sugar control and fighting type 2 diabetes in seniors. It's cold brew coffee with added apple cider vinegar. I know, stay with me. Cold brew coffee contains up to 67% less acid than hot brewed coffee, making it far gentler on the aging digestive tract. But more importantly, the cold brewing process preserves a significantly higher concentration of antioxidant polyphenols. When you combine it with even 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, you create one of the most clinically documented natural blood sugar interventions ever studied. Researchers at Arizona State University, led by Dr. Carol Johnston, published a series of studies showing that acetic acid, the active compound in apple cider vinegar, blocks an enzyme called amylase that breaks down starches into sugar. With amylase slowed down, glucose enters your bloodstream gradually rather than in a flood. The same research found that post-meal blood sugar was reduced by up to 34% when apple cider vinegar was consumed before a meal in adults over 65. Combined with cold brew's polyphenols that improve gut bacteria diversity, and emerging research from Johns Hopkins links gut microbiome health directly to insulin sensitivity in older adults, this combination is extraordinary. After 70, your gut bacterial diversity drops significantly, and that loss directly impairs how your body processes carbohydrates. My patient Beverly, 80 years old from Portland, Oregon, had been fighting type 2 diabetes for 11 years. She started drinking cold brew coffee with 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar mixed in every morning before breakfast. Within 90 days, her fasting blood glucose had dropped from 162 to 118. She said, "I feel like I have my future back." Prepare your cold brew by steeping coarsely ground coffee in cold filtered water for 12 to 24 hours in the refrigerator. Mix 1 tablespoon of raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar, the kind with the cloudy sediment at the bottom called the mother, into 8 ounces of cold brew. Always dilute the vinegar in the coffee before drinking to protect your tooth enamel. Drink it 20 to 30 minutes before your largest meal of the day. Here is what I need you to hear before you go, and I mean this from the deepest place in my 27-year career. You did not come this far in life to simply manage decline. Every single morning you wake up is an opportunity to give your body one more tool, one more advantage, one more reason to keep fighting. Blood sugar control is not just about numbers on a meter. It is about whether you can play with your grandchildren without exhaustion, whether you can travel, whether you can wake up with energy and purpose and know that your best years are not behind you but unfolding right now. The people who age powerfully are not the ones with perfect genetics. They are the ones who kept learning, kept adjusting, and refused to believe it was too late. It is never too late. If this video helped you, please subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. And now I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 coffees are you most excited to try first? And has your doctor ever talked to you about coffee and blood sugar? Leave your answer below. I read every single comment, and I will see you in the next one.